Welcome to Cooking with Benson. Alright, so last video we did a review for the Presto pressure canner. Today we're going to actually can sweet potatoes. So I've done all the long, boring work. My wife helped me do it. I've peeled my sweet potatoes. Roughly, I'm doing these in quart jars, and roughly 4 potatoes per jar. I figure after shrinkage, I can get 3 like uncooked. So I've got them all cut into standard shapes, about the same size, maybe 1 inch, inch and a half pieces. They're gonna go into a pot of boiling water for 10 minutes, and then they're gonna go into the jars. I gotta wash them before I throw them in the pot of boiling water. My jars are already washed, my lids are washed, my rings are washed, and everything like that. My jars and everything I have so far, and we'll go from there. So there's my jars, my rings, and my lids. They've been washed with warm soapy water. Now they're sitting here with warm water in them, which it says once your jars are clean to fill them with warm water and let them sit. That's the pot for my potatoes. Again, it's already boiling. And then I've got my funnel, my can lifter, my magnet to pull the lids out of the hot water when I put them in there, and then my bubble remover slash head spacer. I'm gonna get another pot in the back there with 3 quarts of water and get it boiling. That way I can drop it down to like medium high, because when it's time to get the pressure canner ready, you need to put in 3 quarts of water at that's already at 180 degrees. So I'll also bring you back when it's time to start filling these jars. So Jordan does want to help, so I'll let him help out. Now I'm not going to use the water the potatoes are cooking in to fill my jars. I'm going to have separate boiling water in a little kettle that I have. So I'm going to get these washed and get them in there, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to fill them. All right, potatoes are ready. 3 quarts of water in here. There's a line on the edge that you can look at. I got water starting to boil back here. I'm going to put a splash of vinegar in here, about 2 tablespoons, and that should help keep the jars from getting stained. I'm going to slowly empty jars and fill them, so let's get going. I also put my lids in some really warm water to kind of help loosen up the seals. So, alright, so basically I'm going to take this jar, it's got warm water in it, dump it out, get my funnel on there. So I've got 1 inch, and then we're going to cover this with water. Then I'll fill these with water all at the end. So just going to get these potatoes out of the water. So apparently 30 sweet potatoes is not enough to fill 7 jars. It barely filled what I have here. So I'm gonna get these packaged. So I'm gonna go and add my boiling water. This water just came off, so that's why it's not bubbling. But I'm gonna add it so I get 1 inch of headspace. All right, that's good. And then I'll probably get some more headspace when I go around and work the sides here, because you can see it bubbles up and the bubble fills the holes a little bit more. So you want to double check your headspace after that. So use just a little bit more. Oops, sorry, all the steam. So there you go. So I'm going to continue these jars here and get them to 1 inch of headspace. Now, one of the things it does say is the second you get your jars filled, to go ahead and get them in the pressure canner. So I'm also going to come into my cup of hot water right here, grab one of my lids, a napkin. Supposedly vinegar helps seal the jars, so get you a napkin, get some vinegar on it. You're just gonna wipe the rim of the glass. Basically what you're doing here is trying to help clean anything that might be on there, and then also give you a better chance of it sealing itself. Clean my rim. Okay. This goes on. Grab your ring. You're just gonna finger tighten it Doesn't have to be super tight, so get it on there, grab your jar at top, quick turn, so it's not too tight, into your canner. And then it's rinse and repeat from this point on. So I'm gonna get them in there, I'll bring it back when it's ready to be closed. All right, now, burner's on high heat, got my 3 quarts of water in here, my jars are in here, give you a quick peek. So there they are. Again, I only could fill 6. So there is a arrow on the lid here, there's an arrow on the handle here. Make sure my seal's in good here. Make sure this is good and it moves real well. And then I'm gonna look through this vent release like chimney thing. Make sure I can see light. We can see light. Gauge is on, finger tight. Line up. It's down. Then you just give it a little twist. And then I'm gonna pick it up and turn it so that I can see my gauge up front, which puts my chimney here. Then I just check the bottom and make sure the bottom is lined up as much with my burner as possible, which it's a 9-inch burner. It's a 9-inch induction piece here. So it's on there, it's good. We're at a high heat, and basically what we're looking for now, this little guy right here will start emitting steam, and what's happening when that is occurring is it's pushing the excess air that's in this container out, and it's got to do that for 10 minutes. Now here's the thing, it's a little hard to see the steam when it's coming out, and it needs to be a good, even, steady flow. So what I do is in about 5 minutes, I'll walk up with one of these guys here, and you can very easily just kind of tilt this over it, and you'll see this fog up that lets you know steam's coming out. Once I see it's coming out in a steady flow, I'll put a timer on for 10 minutes, and then once that's done, this guy goes on top here. Again, this is only to prevent this from going above 15 pounds. So this guy will just sit on this hull. It might rock once or twice if it bubbles or something, but other than that, it won't really rock until it hits 15 pounds. Now, according to the book that came with the canner, this has to go at 11 pounds for 90 minutes because they're in quart jars. So how I'll know this is ready is once I put this on there, it'll start allowing the pressure to build in here, and then my gauge will go up. But what'll happen first is this guy is basically my lock mechanism. It shows that there's pressure. If this is up, there's pressure in there. So yesterday, before I even hit 10 minutes of steam coming out of here, this was already up. So that was letting me know it had at least started to build enough pressure to keep that up while the steam was coming. And then once I dropped this on there, on top of it, within a few minutes, my gauge started moving. So again, this is where we get to play tricky, because this has got to go 90 minutes. And it's tricky on this glass top keeping that at the 11 mark. Once this starts steaming, I'll show you, and then once we get ready to lock it down, I'll show you as well. Alright, the first sign you'll get that this is steaming is that you'll see bubbles or water flicker out of the top here. So again, you can't see, and there's, you can't feel anything, but if you take one of these, now keep in mind steam is hot, it will burn you, so you have to be careful. But if you take and lay this right here, see how it fogs up? So that tells me the steam has started to come out, but I wouldn't say that's a steady stream that's coming out just yet. So I'm gonna give it a minute or two more. I mean, I hear the bubbling inside, but I can start to hear steam come out of this now. So, see, it's steaming up on the thing. So that tells me there's steam coming out of here, because that's what's causing that to fog like that. So I'm gonna turn my timer on, and that has to go for 10 minutes. And you basically have to keep that going for 10 minutes and like slowly like adjust your temperature if you need to. All right, and this just goes on there like that. And that's it. And then this will start building pressure. So it takes a few minutes. We're on high heat. Again, we're gonna get to about 10, and then we'll lower the heat a little bit. And I found yesterday, if I put it on my burner on my glass top between 2 and 3, I kept between 11 and a half and 12. Oh, I touched the top, that was hot. I keep between 11 and 12, so it has started its ascent. That took about 2.5 minutes to get that far, so you got to stay with it.
It is set, but it's
All right, so I'm at 10 pounds of pressure right now. I've already cranked my burner dial down by about 3 clicks, and I'm just trying to get to that 11 mark, and then I'll click it down even further. Once it hits that 11 mark, I can set the timer for 90 minutes, and it's got to go for 90 minutes. All right, 90 minutes at 11 plus pounds, and I will say, doing this a second time, keeping this above the 11 mark is still the most difficult task on this glass top, because of the way it heats, the on and off. Like, if I even moved it half a click on the burner or on the knob, it would drop for 4 pounds easy. A half a click back and it'd go 6 pounds up. So I was like constantly checking it across the 90 minutes. But now that it's out, basically you have to let the pressure canner lose pressure completely all on its own. Basically, we're looking for this guy to completely sink down before we take the lid off. So you're supposed to pull it off the burner, which I've done, and then you don't touch it at all until this guy drops all the way down. So I'll bring you back when that's done. All right, it's down. Let's get it open. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and take this off. Set it over there. And it does say in the book, make sure when you lift the lid off to lift it away from you, so. My jars are still kind of bubbling, but we're gonna get them out and get them on a little carpet thing, or on a, I'm gonna put them on a towel so they're not touching the cold towel, or whatever countertop this is. So I got my little jar holder, just goes down for the lid like that. Just lift it up. See the bubbles and stuff. So I did the 1-inch headspace, you know, like it called for, but it looks like I've lost a lot of moisture. So now it does say, you know, the stuff above the water might change colors, but it's still fine. It still isn't, losing that much headspace isn't going to cause an issue, but I don't know what I did, because I think that happened on my mushrooms too. So let's get the rest of these out of here. All right, last one. All right, and these basically get to sit for the next 12 to 24 hours to fully cool. And as that happens, you should hear these tops start to pop, which means they're sinking down. So all in all, there it goes. Like I said, the only issue I had was maintaining that above 11 pounds, but not too high. So these actually ran anywhere from 12 pounds to 14 pounds. So, but I'll bring you back tomorrow morning when we take the bands off. Well, in 12 hours, so tomorrow afternoon-ish, when we pull the bands off and test the lids. All right, as promised, here's our sweet potatoes. I ended up with about 7 jars. I still have a little over half a box left to do. But the final test to really see if they sealed is ring off, grab it by the lip of the jar, and say that joker's on there. So we've got fresh jarred sweet potatoes anytime we want them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. A couple tips and tricks I'll say that I kind of learned was I boiled these a little too long. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you've done this before. Let me know if you're doing it now. And we'll see you in the kitchen.